housekeeping, and then we'll get started with the cards because it's already 7:10. All right, so I am going to flip the camera over. And this is the last, well, you have till tomorrow. If you place a $50 order through my online store, then you'll get this tutorial bundle of 42 projects. The new one, I've got the new tutorial bundle for June. I have the photograph here, and I'll put that out this next week. So if you order $50 through my online store and use this host code, and then I'll post on my blog, which is shallwestamp.com, you will find the June's host code. It's already up. But this is a tutorial bundle that's created by myself and 41 other demonstrators across the countries that we are operating in. And we all participate. It's a collaboration. There are a lot of great inspiration. Carolyn, it might be something that will be interested for you as well, because it's a lot of the tutorials. They're good for copying or changing it up or whatever you want to do. So keep that in mind as well. And the next thing, just as a reminder, if you are ordering from me, I have this free 40 from Dawn, and this sheet I did have it on the newsletter. It's in my newsletter, and I didn't post it this week. But if you don't have this form, let me know, and I'll get one to you. So every time you place an order of at least $50 and you complete these 8 lines, then you will receive your choice. You choose $40 worth of free product, and that you can just put that down here, and then you can either take a picture of this and send it to me by email, or you can text it to me, message me, I don't care, however you get it. And then you just pay for the shipping and tax, and then I cover the cost of the products up to $40. And then I also have monthly coupons, which I haven't posted. These are the new ones for this year. So starting in June, unless you're you place an order today or tomorrow and spend $75, then you'll get a free pack of 12 by 12 cardstock of your choice. But in June, if you spend $60 in my online store, then you will get a free pack of the 2023-25 in color assorted cardstock pack. I think those run about $12. And so every month there's a coupon. So once you, if you want to take advantage of that and you place an order, just shoot me an email and let me know that you're aware there's a coupon and you want whatever that special is, okay? And I'll put these, I'll put this in the newsletter next week so that you can download and have these available for your use. And then 2 other things. Starting on June 1st, we have one more day to go out tomorrow, and then it starts June 1st. We're having a 15% off designer series paper sale. That is in my newsletter that I sent out today. And you can download this sheet. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 papers that are participating in this 15% off. So if you have papers that you want to purchase, my recommendation is wait and do it June 1st so you can get the additional 15% off. Now, hi Sherry LBJ Alexander, how are you? Now, the other thing that we are offering for the whole month, and this runs for the full month of June, and also we have a new join special for those of you that may be interested. You can choose $155 worth of product and pay $99 plus sales tax. We cover your shipping cost. And that's a great way if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of supplies. That's a great way to choose what you want to do. You're not required to hold classes or hold parties or whatever. You just get a discount, minimum of 20% down discount on your purchases going forward. So if you sign up in June, then you'll have July, August, you'll have it through the end of September. And if you don't meet the minimum requirements as far as a sales or purchasing, then you'll just go back to being a regular customer paying full price. So if you want some more information, reach out to me and let me know. I'll be more than happy to share that with you. This is a great time. So in addition to getting a 20% discount as a demonstrator, you're going to also take advantage of the 15% discount on your paper if you decide to do that. So you're going to get more bang for your buck if you are a demonstrator and you order all of this stuff in June. Or if you're not a demonstrator, then you can sign up through my link and take advantage of that as well. So just keep that in mind. It's something to consider. It's a great way to take advantage and get discounts on something that we all love to do. All right, so that's it on the sales pitch for today. So, but it's a great thing. So just keep in mind, if you order, or if you have some friends that are, do cards or scrapbooking and they want to order stuff, they can order from you, and then that counts towards your whatever your requirement is that you have to meet, sales requirement. Okay. All right. So let's get started with the cards. Now today, I copied this from another demonstrator, and this is from, hang on a minute, I just lost my train of thought of her name, Sue Campfield. And this is what she calls a double pop-up card. And there's how it goes. So we're going to make two of these, two different designs. And this is using the Zoo Crew, which I absolutely love this stamp set. But isn't this cute? And really, this is not a hard card. It's very easy to make. Okay? And I'm going to give you all the instructions. And you can always come back and rewatch it and write down so you'll have the measurements. All right, so this is the first card that we're going to make, and I'm going to do very similar but different colors. Okay, so let me show you what we did first. Now this is what I'm using, and just to let you all know, and I didn't bring the paper out, so those of you that are new here, I apologize, it's behind me. But this is the Zany Zoo. I swear to God, I love this thing. Isn't this just hilarious? I mean, I think this is so great for birthdays. And this can be used for adults or kids or whomever. And then you have, there's 11 red rubber cling stamps. So these are the red rubber ones. And then it also comes with 20 dies. Now, keep in mind, when you look at the paper, these dies will cut out some of those images on the paper. So, hello. This one right here was cut out with the dies, and these balloons were already colored in. So I didn't have to do, the only thing I stamped was my birthday and my little, decorations for celebrating, okay? So it makes it really easy for making cards. And the next time I do this, I'm gonna make a curtain. I'm gonna make a stage because there's a dancing bear, and we're gonna have this dancing bear dancing. So anyways, this is 20 die, so you get this as a bundle, and when you purchase the two as a bundle, you do receive a 10% discount. Okay, so on this card, I'm going to put it right over here out of the way because we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, we're going to start with, I'm going to use a piece of basic white, and it's going to be 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to give you the scoring of what we need to do as far as our score marks. If you don't have a paper trimmer, I highly encourage you to get one of these. The arm, if you scrapbook, this arm opens up to 17 inches. And we have a cutting blade, which is the darker one, and then we have the scoring blade, which is the gray one. And then on the base itself, it runs every 1/4 inch, and they also have, in addition to the inches, we have it listed in centimeters as well. Okay, so we are going to score at 2 1/8 inches. And if you're not familiar, your eighths, you would go in from the 2 and count the 1, and the second line is an 1/8. And then you move over 2 more, and that gives you 2 1/4. So we're going to do 2 1/8. So we're going to score that right there. And then we're going to slide this down, and we're going to score at 4 1/4. And I just got red nail polish on here. 4 1/4. All right, so that's all the scoring that we're going to do on this. All right, so let's move this away. Now, I went ahead and cut everything in advance because I didn't want it to take up too much time. All right, so we're going to fold like we normally do, right? We're going to fold our card in half. We're going to get our bone folder, if I can get it out of my little tray. And always make sure that your edges are lined up evenly. Sometimes they might be off a little bit, and that's okay because not all the paper always cuts exactly right. So we're just going to burnish that. And then where I did the 2/8 right here, I'm just going to fold it backwards, okay? So we're going to fold it back. So it's kind of making like a Z fold, okay? See that? All right, so that's going to be our initial base of the card per se. Now, the next thing we're going to do is I've cut a piece of the designer paper, and this is one of the pieces in case you all haven't seen it. This is one, and this is all pre-colored. But isn't this cute? But I'm using and all the back sides are black and white. So this piece right here, I'm going to place on this sheet, but I'm going to add a little bit of color. So I'm using a piece of Coastal Cabana, and this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then my designer paper is, we always go down 1/4 inch, so this would be 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So we're going to go ahead and attach this, and I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue. So we're going to add this, even though I have to cover up these cute little critters. I just love this stamp set. I think I'm reliving a childhood that I never had. So, all right, so we're going to lay that on there. And then you just want to have about 1/8 of an inch to go all the way around. And if it's not exact, you know, for those of you that are new to my channel, I don't let that little stuff bother me. You know, you can't be perfect in everything that you do, and definitely in stamping, you cannot be perfect. You will drive yourself crazy. All right, so now I'm going to layer this on to the inside of my card. Now, if you don't want to put a colored piece underneath, you don't have to. So if you want to just put the designer paper, then just cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so we're going to lay this right in here. All right, so there's that part of our card. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is I am going to add 2 strips of petal pink, and I ran these through using the mini cut and emboss machine. I ran these through the stripes and splatter embossing folders. So by doing so, it came out with these nice lines. Okay, I'm going to add that here, and I'm going to put this one right here. Okay, and these are cut at hang on, I'm looking at my measurements. 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and add these, and I'm going to put my liquid glue on here. Probably should use my seal, but it's all right. This will work. This will hold. All right, so I'm going to add this on the front panel, and then I'm also going to put it on the inside panel, okay? And we're going to put that right there, and then we're going to do this one. We'll put this one down. And again, it doesn't have to be, you could do designer paper here. You could just do a piece of regular cardstock. You don't have to emboss it if you don't want to. It's your card, and you can do whatever you want, right? And, but we're going to do it like this, and this is the petal pink. Okay. All right, now the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to cut a piece of basic white, and this is going to be our mechanism, and this is 3 by 2 1/4 inches. So that's 3 by 2 1/4. Crazy is a short trip for you. Oh, good, then we'll get along just fine. All right, so we're going to take this 2 by 3 2 1/4 by 3, and we're going to score at 3/4 of an inch. And if you notice on our paper trimmer on the right side, it goes up to 1 1/2. So I'm going to put the 3/4 mark right there. It just makes it a little bit easier. So we're going to first score at 3/4, and then I'm just going to turn it around. My second score is going to be at 1 1/2. So we're going to go 1 1/2 here. All right. And then the next score that I'm going to do is going to be at 2 1/4. So we're going to do 2 1/4. Okay. All right, so now we're going to fold this and burnish it. So we're just going to fold it along all of these little scores. I'll come back with my bone folder in just a minute. And I'm getting nail polish. I had to touch up my nails because the nail place was closed yesterday and I couldn't get my nails done. And I have got, they're so grown out and the tips were, anyways, whatever. They were looking pretty pitiful. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make like a box. We're going to make like a tube like this, right? But the first thing that we want to do is, I'm going to bring this up. See how these two pieces are, one's overlapping the other? So I am going to just trim a slight amount off because we don't want them to overlap. We just want them to meet just right together with no overlapping. So I'm just going to lay this in my paper trimmer, and I'm just going to take off a smidge. Let me get my blade up there. So bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to shape like a hair. Hopefully that works. Let's see. And we're going to put that down there. All right, let's see. We got a little bit. This one's a little bit, so I'm just going to flip this one over and do the same thing. Let me just cut a little bit off this one. And sometimes that happens just the way our paper is cut. So I'm just trying to get a little bit cut off of it. I don't want to cut too much off. All right, so we should be good. That one's still going to hold up. So hang on, let's just trim this down one more little smidge. And the reason I'm doing this is we don't want anything to affect it from opening, okay? So you may have to trim it just a little bit. All right, so that's it. See, so we have our crease right there, and they're not touching. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add some tear and tape on both sides of this, because this is going to be our pop-up mechanism. And if I can find my tear and tape, hold on. Where'd you go? I just used this. Oh, here it is. Putting some cards together earlier today. All right, so I am going to, and I know they say tear it. I have a hard time when it comes to tearing. I like to cut it. I'm going to put 2 strips on each side because I want this thing to hold down, right? I don't want it to come off. So I'm going to put 2 on each of the sides, one next to each other. So we're just going to lay this down here. All right. And then I'm going to do 2 more pieces. And this really is an easy card, and it's such a fun card. So I'm going to put one right here and push that down. And then I'll take another piece, and we're going to put that right here. All right, so it's all on my white, okay? So now we're going to pull these 2 apart. And I didn't bring my take your pick tool, so I guess I'll use my scissors. So let's lift this glue off, and then I'll show you how we're going to lay this down. We're going to turn it over, and we're going to line up the hole. Hang on a minute. We're going to line up the hole, the center part here, with our score line at the 4 1/4 mark. So we're going to line that up at the center of our card. So as soon as I get a hold of this and pull that off, and we'll do this one. And then you'll see how it's going to make like a little tunnel, okay? All right, so we've got it all taped up and ready to go. All right, and then we're going to bring it in, and you can put it, I'm going to try to get it centered in the card, and I'm just going to eyeball. I can see that it's laying right atop my score line, so I'm going to lay it down just like this, okay? And we're going to close the card so we can make sure that we get it all together. And then see how it makes our little tunnel piece? That's going to be our pop-up. Now this piece right here, we just want to give it a burnish with our bone folder just to make sure that they're attached to it. Of course, we've got embossing there on this thing, so we want to make sure that they're going to hold really good. All right? Okay, so that's our pop-up mechanism for our double pop-up. All right? Yeah, I usually cut my tape instead of tearing it because it just drives me crazy. All right, so we've got that part done. Now the next thing I'm doing is, now I'm going to layer, which you don't have to, but I just decided I wanted to. So I'm going to put my layer, this is going to be my inside of the card. So I'm using a petal pink, and this is, let's see, 3 by 4 inches. So this is 3 by 4. And then my basic white is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Now on this one, I am going to stamp. Hang on, I got to find my stamps to go with this little guy. Hold on. Oops, I left off one of my things. Hang on. I forgot to pull out my something great to celebrate stamp. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? Something great. So let me pull this off. I've got 2 on here. Hang on a minute. Let me get my thing on here. And I always put my stamps on crooked, just because it forces me to straighten it, try to keep it straight. So I'm going to use my Memento black ink, and I am going to stamp right at the top. I'm going to turn this over. That doesn't look good. All right, we're going to stamp right at the top, and I'm trying to do this without looking at it. Something great to celebrate is you. Perfect. Okay, so we've got that. Hang on a minute, I'm trying to get my, there we go. All right. And close that up because you know what happens when you leave the ink open, right? All right, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the happy birthday on the other card, but I'm going to do some decorating. So before I attach this, we're going to do a little bit of decorating here with the, hang on a second, let me grab my stamp. I've got a lot of stamps being used. All right, we're going to do some petal pink, and we're going to do some coastal. I'm sorry, it's pool party, not coastal. This cardstock here was pool party. I apologize. And I've got this little decorative party looking thing. So we're just going to stamp a couple of those around on this guy here. So I'm just going to stamp, probably just do it in coastal. So I'll do one there, and then I'll just do one right there. Okay, so we're having a party. So I'm going to set those right there. Let's go ahead and attach this. All right. Okay, so we're going to do that. And we're going to lay that down there. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some adhesive. And I'm going to use my seal. Hang on a second, let me grab it. And what we want to do is see where the line is. This is up against the card. So when I place my card down, I want to leave just a little crack so that it will fold and this is not going to get in the way of it closing. Now, no one's going to see that because we're going to have a card on top. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive right on this side of the card, and I'm going to kind of eyeball it where I think it needs to go. And I say it's going to go probably from here to here. So I'm going to put a little bit right there. Now, if you wanted, you could put some tear tape right there if that makes you happy. You can do that. And we'll just add a little bit of strip right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this on here. And I want to make sure it's centered. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to lay that there. And I've got a little bit of the white showing, but not much. So I'm just going to lay that and just kind of do a quick rub so it holds on there. Okay, so there's our piece right there. Whoops, this piece is not straight. Okay, why is it not straight? Hang on, my little thing is not cooperating. All right, so we got that. Why is that not cooperating? Hang on. For some reason, my little thing makes it look like it's crooked. So I'm going to lift this up and move it. I'm going to move it over just a little bit because it looked like the bottom was not as straight. Let's lay it down flat like that. There we go. We got just enough there. Okay. All right. So then that's going to go like that. Okay. I'm not sure why that card is doing that. That's weird. Unless I've got it cut wrong, but I don't think I do. See how it's going crooked? Isn't that wild? That's not good. What is wrong with my card here? My little base looks like it's fine. Hang on. See, I told you it's gonna. Y'all gonna learn from me. You're gonna do don't do what Dorney does. All right. I'm not sure why it is making my card lay crooked. That is really strange because it really should not be doing that. All right. Let's see. We'll put it down like that. Let me move it up just a little bit. Well, okay. There we go. All right. So that's gonna be the inside. Duh. All right, now the next thing, this is our top piece. So this piece here is 3 by 4. Let me just make sure. Yes, 3 by 4. And then our basic white is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Now the inside, I think I told you wrong. Let me see. Hang on a minute. This one, I'm sorry, this one here, the cardstock, this one is 4 3/4 by 3 1/4, and then the white would be a half down. So my mistake, I gave you the wrong information on the front of the card. Okay, so now with that being said, we are going to take our stamp. And I'm going to clean this off for just 1 second. And then we're going to come in and stamp happy birthday to you. And I'm going to do that in the black as well. So let me pull that back in. I'm leaving these colors out because we're going to do a few of those little confetti things. All right, so we're going to do happy birthday. We'll put that right about there. Well, that's a little crooked, but you know what? It is what it is. All right, I'm not going to get too worried about that. Okay. Now, we're going to take our little confetti, and we'll do a couple of confettis. Now, this guy, I cut him out of the paper using a circle punch, and I'm going to put him right here in the front. Isn't he cute? So I'm going to put him right here. And I'm going to go ahead and attach him now, and then I'm going to put some decorations, and we're going to add a little bit of ribbon, and we'll get that on there. We're definitely going to be going over time, everybody, because if you want me to do 3 cards, you may have to put one off. All right, so there's that, and then I'm going to come back in with some of these little decorations, and just do a couple of. Let's do another one. Let's do the pink on here since the other one's got that. All right, so there's that. All right, and then we're going to close these up, and because he's taken up a lot of space. All right, so we're going to now bring in our ribbon, and I'm going to use the Petal Pink ribbon, which it's part of this suite, and it's the Ribbon Duo Combo. And so we've got this cute little ribbon here, which I haven't even opened this one. I used the green one. So we're going to take just a little piece of this, and we're going to attach it to the top part of the card. Hopefully I left enough room for it. And give me a minute while I try to get a hold of the the clear plastic thing. This is how I do it. Don't ask me. Every time I try to grab it. Okay, so we're going to take a little piece of this, and I'm going to cut probably about like that. I'm going to just tie this in a knot. So let's move that out of the way. And I'm just going to tie a knot and try to get it in the center of the card. And then we'll just attach this to the top. And that way it kind of looks like we've done something really fancy with it. And so we'll try to get that to look like a cute knot. And we're going to lay that right there. And then I'm just going to take my seal, and I'm going to put a little bit right here and a little bit right here. And then I'm going to attach my ribbon, and we want this one to go like that. So I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to wrap this around this way, and then we'll wrap it around this way. Hopefully I got the glue up there, yeah. All right, so there's our ribbon, and if we have too much, we can always cut the excess off, which it won't hurt. All right, and we want to make sure we got that straight. I think that looks cute. What do y'all think? Cute, huh? Okie doke. So now we're going to go ahead and attach this to our part on the front. And I've got some seal on that as well. So we'll go ahead and attach this right here. And we'll lay that down. And I might have to get up off my stand up so I can see if this is straight. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's the front of our card. All right, and now all we have to do is we're going to attach this here. Now what we want, when we put this down, we want to see, you want to place it on here where it just shows a little bit of the white and the pink, if you have it layered. If you don't have it layered, then you just want to see a little bit of the white. All right, so I know that I need to do this side. I'm going to do my seal because it's going to be stronger to use since we've got this lines, and that's kind of rough. So we want to make sure that this is going to be attached and it's going to hold, okay? And I'll just, whoops, see, it's so strong it keeps my fingers to it. All right, so I'm going to, bear with me 1 second, I'm just going to hold this here so I can see it before I stick it down. That way I don't have to stand up. All right, so I think we're going to go right about like that. All right, there you go. So there is our card. Isn't that cute? And then you open it up. See? You go like that, and then you go like that. All right, so that is a double-decker pop-up card, or however you want to call it. So I just thought that was so cute and so easy, especially when you use the stuff out of the suite, because it kind of does all the work for you. All right, so there's that card. Pardon me. Okay, so we have another one. If we have time, I'm going to go ahead and what time is it? Okay. Are you all okay if we go over a little bit? Let's do the second one. All right, so this is another one that I did, and I used the bottle of happiness, and same thing. All right, so this one's not layered. See how that one doesn't have a layer underneath, but isn't that cute? So I thought we'd make one like this too. So let's get this one, and then the last card, so you have to stay to the end because I have really fun. Why don't we do this? Let's do the other card first, and then we'll come back and do this one. How's that, since we've already done that design, okay? Let's do that way. All right, give me 1 second. Let me move some of this out of the way before I lose my stuff. And, all right. So now, the next card, we're switching things up a little bit. We're going to go back. Now we're going to do this other card. This is a card, and it's called, let me get it in here so you can see it. This is called a wiper card. All right, so this is the card, and we'll come back and do the other one in just a minute. I have no place to be. Okay, so we're going to do this one, and then I'll come back and do the other pop-up. All right, so this is what's called a wiper card. So you pull it, and look at that. Isn't that cool? Ta-da! And we close it like that. Isn't that neat? And again, this is very easy to do. It goes like that. All right, so that's what we're going to do right now. And this one I got from, excuse me, another demonstrator. Her name's Connie Stewart. Pardon me. So we're going to be working with, let me pull out all my colors here. Pardon me, Flirty Flamingo and Misty Moonlight. And we're also going to be using the Love for You stamp set. And this is the one that's got the really big lettering. We're not going to do any cutting. We're just going to use this and a couple of flowers and some leaves. Okay? All right, now on this one, let me turn my notes down so that I can read to you. This one's a little bit more, not complicated. I don't want to say it's complicated. It's a little bit more involved, but it really is an easy card. Once you put it together, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so simple. All right, so we're going to take, we need our paper trimmer because we got to cut our paper down. Oh, Connie's your upline. Oh, awesome. Well, then you've probably seen this card. She's such a sweet lady. I've never met her, but I do watch her. Okay, so we're going to start with a piece of cardstock, which is going to be 5 1/4 by 11. Not 4 1/4, but we're doing 5 1/4 by 11. Okay, so we're going to cut that off. Save this because we're going to use that. All right, now we're going to score this at 1 3/4. So let me get this in here. All right, 1 3/4. And make sure when you line up, you want to make sure it's lined up towards the bottom too. Sometimes we forget and that makes it a little crooked. So 1 3/4. And then we're going to slide it down and score at 3 1/2. Okay. And also you want to make sure it's butted up to your header right up here. All right, so 3 1/2. Now, to make it easy, so you only have to remember the two numbers, just flip your card around like that. Just do them from here, 180. And we're going to do the same thing, okay? So 1 3/4. My dog is snoring. 1 3/4 and 3 1/2. And get it to 3 1/2. Make sure that's lined up. Okay, so that's going to be our card base. All right, now, whoops, better leave this thing out. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to do, and I'll score that, I'll fold this in just a minute. Let's do our other cutting. We need our DSP. Oh, wait a minute. We need our little flap things to hold our DSP. So we're going to do 3 pieces of cardstock at 1 3/4 by 4. Now this is the piece that I've just cut off. So we're going to cut this at 1 3/4. So I'm going to bring this over here and cut this. Now this is only going to give us 2 pieces, so we'll have another piece. So 1 3/4, and then we're going to cut this at 4. So we want this at 1 3/4 by 4. So let's cut that 1 3/4. And then we'll come here and do this at 4. All right, so that's an extra piece. And then this piece isn't big enough, so we're going to save those for later. And then I did cut one other piece to have the 3 all together. Okay, so you need 3 of these, 1 3/4 by 4 inches. Now we need 3 DSPs to do the same thing, right? So we're going to take a piece of designer series paper, and this is from the Lush shops, the one that's got the little shops with the candy and the donuts and all that stuff. We're going to make, we're going to take a sheet that's 3 3/4 by 4 7/8. So this is the 3 3/4. So we're going to turn it to 4 7/8, and I'm going to cut 3 of these at 1 5/8. Now I'm not sure I'll get 3 out of this, but I'm thinking we should. So let's do 1 5/8. So that's going to be 1 1/2 with a little slight mark over to make it 5/8. So we're going to cut there, and we're going to move it down one more time to 1 5/8, and this should give us all 3. 1 5/8. Get my marks up there, and then this one should be 1 5/8, and it is 1 5/8. Whoops, hang on. 1 5/8. We got a little bit to trim off. 1 5/8. 1 1/2, 5/8. Okay, hang on. All right, so we got a little bit here that we need to trim off. Okay, so we'll just trim just a little, just a smidge. All right, so we have those. All right, so these 3, we're going to go on those 3 that I just cut, right? And I think that is all I need for cutting. Let's make, yeah. All right, now, so let's go ahead and fold our cardstock, and then I'll go over the other pieces. We're going to fold at this first line is going to go here, and we're going to burnish. This is the second, and then the first one that we did, we're going to fold it back, right? Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to fold this one in. Make sure our cards are lined up and it's even. Sometimes it's going to be off a little bit. And then fold it back. Okay. And then that's our start of the base of our card. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is you're going to cut 2 pieces of a different coordinating piece of cardstock. So we are doing Misty Moonlight, and this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And this is going, actually, this is going to be the base because this is going to set on top of that, okay? But we're not going to do that just yet. And then this is part of our sentiment, and this one is 3 inches by 2. All right, and then we have the piece of white, basic white for our sentiment. If this is 3 by 2, then this is going to be 1 3/4 by 2 3/4, right? Okay, so that's going to be for our sentiment. That's going to go on the front. And then we have a piece of basic white that is, I think it's, hang on, I think it's 3 3/4 by 5. Yeah, this is 3 3/4 by 5, which is going to go on the inside right here. Okay? All right, so the first thing that we want to do is let's go ahead and decorate this card here. So let me get my Misty Moonlight ink out, and we're going to go ahead and stamp our flowers and our sentiment on here. So, hang on a minute, I got to find my stuff here. Nobody gets me like you. Hang on, I got to find my stuff. That goes on the front. Nobody gets me like you get me. And this one I'm going to put in here that's going to say, sending a little message. Or is that the one that goes, hang on a minute. Hold up, I might be getting confused with my next card. I think that's going to be my next card, isn't it? Oh, that one goes over there. Hang on a minute, let me get my sentiment out. I keep forgetting I have, let's see, we are going to do, hang on, I got to pull it out. Let's see, we're going to put for you, and we don't want Valentine's Day. Bear with me, I'm just looking at the stamps real quick. Nobody gets, I'll just put nobody gets me like you do. Well, we'll just do that. Let me pull off one of my flowers. We'll just do the same thing like I have on that one. So I'm going to put nobody gets me like you do. And we're going to stamp that right about here. Hopefully I get it straight. It's kind of hard when you're looking at it when you're sitting down. I should stand up, but you know. All right, and then I'm going to do 2 flowers. And I'm going to do those in Flirty Flamingo, which is right here. Are y'all still with me? You don't have to be perfect, I'm telling you. And you know why I say that? One, you don't want to stress yourself out. But 2, when the person gets your card, they have no idea what this card's supposed to look like. So when I used to teach classes back when I lived in the villages, I used to tell my ladies that all the time because they'd say, oh, well, they have no idea what your card's supposed to look like, right? So how are they going to know if it's right or wrong? So you just do what you want, right? And then, so I'm just taking the flower. This is one of the flowers in that set. And I'm just stamping it on here. All right. And then there is a little tiny dot here that is the center of, and I'm putting some Misty Moonlight on it. And it's the center of this little piece right there. And I'm going to turn this around so I can, I'm going to have to lean over. So hopefully I can get it in the hole right here. And that's the center part. See, I got a little crooked. I mean, a little off. And I guess I should stand up. Oh, let me stand up. And then, so this one, you can kind of hover over and see where you need to place it, right? So we'll just stamp that right there. All right, so that's the inside. And we'll put our little dot. And these ones are so small, so you have to be careful. You don't want to lose these little guys because they will jump from you. All right, and then we're going to, let's see, what else are we going to do? Oh, I know what I need. I need to get my soft, hang on a second. Let me get my soft sea foam because we're going to make, I got to stamp a couple of leaves, which I didn't do, on the inside. I don't know if we need them on the inside or not. Let's leave them. We don't need to put them. All right, let me close up my ink pads, and then we'll go ahead and put that on. All right, so let's set this off to the side. Let's get these little guys over here out of the way for the moment. Okay, so let's add this. We're going to put that right here. Okay, now you could add the leaves to it if you want to. All right, so we're going to use our, put a little bit of liquid glue on that. We'll add that right to the center. Get that right in there. So you can see my nail polish just coming off and getting on the card. That's the bad thing about when you just touch up your nails. All right, so we've got that part done. Now we're going to add our, and you know what I should have done? When you cut your designer paper, keep it in the order that you cut it. This one is pretty easy to see, to line it up, okay? So you want to keep it, when you cut it, keep it in the same lineup so that when you put it on the cards, it looks right, okay? So just make sure you do that. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to add our, the card base, this part first. So I'm going to line that up, and what we want to do is we want to line it up to the left side and all the way so it's even with the top of the card. But we only want to put adhesive, you know, from here over, right? So again, I'm going to use my seal because it's going to be a lot stronger. And with us opening and closing this card, we want to make sure that, you know, we've got enough that's going to hold it on there, right? And I probably can go a little bit more. Yeah, I can. Or you can stick it, if it, you know, if it's easier for you, you can just stick it right on there. All right, so I'm going to lay this here, and we're going to line this up and make sure that it's even on the top and the bottom before we push it down. All right, and that's good. Okay. And then we're going to do the bottom one. And we want to do the same thing with this one. And I'm looking at my notes, so give me just a minute. Top, bottom, right. Okay. All right, so this one we're going to do the same thing. So let's put some adhesive on here. Move that down and there. All right. And then this one, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to line it up all the way at the bottom and make sure the edges are lined up at the corner and the bottom of the card. I kind of put my finger there and just kind of hold it and push it back so it's even with the card base itself. And that way you know you've got it on there. Okay? All right, so then the next one is our middle one. So what I would recommend is we're going to look at it this way. So this is going to go here, right? So we're going to take that. Is that the same size? Yeah. So we're going to take this one and we're going to make sure we've got it. So it's just like that, okay? So we're going to get that in there. So this one we're going to attach right here in the center. So I'm going to hold my finger there. And we're going to add this one on the right side. And again, I'm going to add my adhesive. Make sure I got enough on there. And then I'm going to place that down. I just want to make sure I've got it even before I lay it down. So it's in this part right. Let me make sure that this is the right size. It looks like it's a little bit bigger. Hang on a minute. This is 1 7/8. Is that right? 1 and, oh, it should be 1 3/4. Hold up. This one's just, I thought it looked a little bit big. Let me trim this down. This should be 1 3/4, and I've got it a little bit bigger than that. So let's trim that. Good thing I caught that, because otherwise that would not have closed. Okay. I think that's going to be better now. Oh yeah, much better. I think I need to change my blade. You can see it's gotten a little scruffy there. All right, so I'm just laying my card so I can get it to where I think the center is, and I'm going to place it right here. And again, I'm going to line that up and push this down. Okay? All right, so that's how we get that part going. This is our mechanism, so we're going to do our little wiper, okay? All right, and then the next thing we're going to do, and I think I might have put my glue a little bit further down. We might want to leave that up because you want it to close. And I've got it, it's a little tight, but it's fine. Okay. Now we're going to take our designer paper and we're going to do the top one first. Now on this one, the top one, we want to put it all the way to the bottom of this card, of your strip, okay? So, and you'll understand why. You'll leave a little bit of a gap, but you want this all the way down to the bottom because we're going to have another gap with the center card, okay? So we're going to line that up and we're going to put it just like that. Now again, this looks like it's not straight, but I think it's the deceivement of that thing, the paper. All right, so let's get our adhesive on and we're going to place this on that flap. So we're going to place that on the bottom left side. We're going to do it at the bottom of this cardstock. So we're going to lay it right here. I'm going to leave a little bit of an edge on the left and we're going to put it just like that. Okay. All right, so we're going to do that one. All right. And then the bottom one, so here's our center one, right? So we're going to take the bottom one and we're going to move him up. So we're going to put him right to the edge of the bottom one and leave our little space, right? So we're going to put him right to the edge of the bottom, at the top, I mean, not at the bottom. He's going to go to the top because we're going to have a nice space that kind of makes up for the extra space when we cut these. All right, so he's going to go here all the way over a little bit, but we're going to make sure he's at the top of that piece of card, that base of that cardstock right there. Okay, so we got him flat. All right, and then our centerpiece will go in, and this one will go right in the center of the this flap. So he's going to go right like we would normally do it. Okay, so he's going to go right in the center. See, it really is an easy card once you get all the pieces cut, you know. Okay, so that one's going to go here. So we're going to lay that down and we're just going to layer him like we normally would do. Put that right like that. And then when we close this, they should all hopefully work out. There we go. See, and how it lines up. The cards, our cardstock. See how the DSP lines up right there? and right here and there. And do you see how it still gives it the view of the spacing on the paper? Isn't that cool? Okay. All right. So now we are going to add our sentiment. I've got glue all over me. We're going to do our sentiment, and it's going to be long ways, and we're just going to add it to the top here. So I'm going to stamp my For You. I'm doing just like I did on the other one, and we're going to do this in Misty Moonlight. I love the Flirty Flamingo. That's one of my favorite colors too. All right, so we're going to stamp this, and I'm just going to stamp it kind of at an angle because I want to leave room to put the flowers in here. All right, so I'm just going to stamp it like that. And we'll put that over here. Let's close this up. Oh, we got to leave that open because we're going to have to make some more little flowers. All right, now on this one, there's a smaller flower. So we're going to use that, and we're going to stamp a small flower at the top and the bottom. I put a big one, but I think I'm going to do 2 small ones because then we can get some of the leaves in here. So I'm going to put a pink one there, and I'm going to put a little bit, a smaller one right here. I think that'll be fine. And then we'll come in with that little dot piece, and we will switch out. Hang on. Isn't this fun? Are y'all enjoying this? All right, so we're going to do our tap a little Misty Moonlight. Let's see if I can get this in here. There we go. Ah, perfect on that one. That's because I can see it's right in front of me. That's why. There we go. Got that. And now we're going to do a couple of leaves. And we're going to, I used that one. We're going to do the little one. And we're going to use some soft sea foam. Let me put this one over here. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a leaf. And let's see. Well, I have this other one. Let me see. Which one do I want to do? Let's do one right about here. It's going to be kind of going off. And then I'll turn it. And we'll have another one kind of coming down this way. All right. And then this little one here, it's probably not going to be much to see, but we'll just put one like that. And maybe we should do a little one so it doesn't look like it's losing its mind there. How's that? All right, so we have our leaves on there. And you can decorate it, excuse me, however you want. All right, so we're going to add this to our piece of Misty Moonlight. And then we are almost done. We're going to put this on here. And right like that. Okay. And then the one thing we need to do before I put this on there is we are going to place, before I do that, we're going to place our card base here on our base of Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to go ahead and use my seal because we want to make sure that this holds on there with all the opening. So we're going to put all of that adhesive on here. Make sure we get around the corners. All right. And this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'll stand up for this one. All right, so let's see. We got about like that. I think that's going to look right. And we'll lay that down there. Okay. All right, now we'll open our card. And we'll go ahead and put our sentiment. We're just going to put it just like I did the other one. And then this one's going to go underneath. So we only want to put adhesive right at the top of this one. So I'm just going to put a strip of the seal, if I can get it to grab, and we'll just do one more stripe. Okay, so we'll do that, and I am going to layer that right probably about there. I'll move it over just a little bit, and you really can put it where you want. And then we close our card, and there you go. Isn't that cute? Get that in there. So there you look. So you open it up. Whoever gets that card is going to be so surprised. Isn't that the cutest thing? And it really is easy to do. Even when I see sometimes I still don't get it. I'm the same way, but this is really easy. So if you just come back and watch it again and take notes, but there you go. All right, just be careful. I probably shouldn't have put as much adhesive on the base on the Fleur de Flamingo right about here. You want to give a little bit of room so that this guy can slide through. And that might be holding it up a little bit, but it still goes through and closes. But isn't that a cute card? All right, so it's 8:05. Let's go and do, if y'all have time, let's do the last card. And that is one using, we're going to do the whoopsie, hang on a minute. We're doing the double decker thingy. And we're going to use the Bottle of Happiness. And this is what we did with that one. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll make this one real quick. This one shouldn't take as long. We're going to do some masking. So I'll show you about that as I'm making all this noise. And we will be done. Just give me about 20 minutes. I usually try to get done by 8 o'clock, but when I do 3 cards, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Okay, so I'm using the Bottle of Happiness for this card, and that is this set right here. I just think this is one that carried over, and it's got some really nice flowers. And okay, so with that being said, we need to cut our designer paper down. So we know what we need to do. We're going to use crushed curry on this one. And there's my envelope. And the S, if in case you all wonder why I have an S, that means that's a scrap. That's from a sentiment. And I'll give you the measurements again, so that way you're getting them twice for this card. All right, now on this one, we need to cut our, let's do our cardstock, and then we'll cut our paper here, because we're going to do paper instead of embossing. Okay, so this one's 5.5 by 4, 5.5 by 8.5, and we are going to score at 2 1/8. So we're going to come back again and do our 2 1/8 scoring. 2 1/8. All right, and then we're going to move that down and do 4 1/4, which is our center. All right, so we'll bring that out. We're going to fold that, and then again we'll fold the back this way, and I'll burnish those in just a minute. All right, and now we're going to take a 4 by 5 1/4. So we need 4 inches, and this is a 6-inch. This is from the Inked Botanicals. I love that paper. I'm going to order some more of this because I just love it. All right, so this is going to be cut at 4 by 5 1/4. So we're going to do 4 at 5 1/4. All right, and then we're going to place that on the inside here. And then we're going to cut, we need 2 of these little guys. And they are, where are my numbers? 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So we're going to do 1 7/8. 7/8 is going to be right about there. And I need to grab, this is 1 7/8 actually. No, it isn't. Hang on. 1 7/8. Helps I get it in the trimmer right. All right, we're just going to cut a smidge off of that. And this is going to be 5 1/4. And then I need, where's my other piece of paper? What did I do with it? Hang on. Don't tell me I don't have another piece. I thought I pulled it out. Hang on a minute. All right, we might be switching up our design here. Hang on a minute. What did I do with it? I thought I had 2 pieces of this paper, but apparently I don't. Because I want this side. What does this side look like? That's what I wanted. What did I do with my other paper? I'm talking to myself. Hang on a minute. Wheel? Hold up. Trying to find, I think I'm going to have to do a, let's see. That's not going to work. That's not the same. All right, I'm going to change up the outside piece, which is no big deal. I'm just going to try to find something that's got a yellow. We'll go with this one. I'll just cut 2 of those. That'll work. Let's do it that way. I don't know what I was thinking when I cut that paper, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to put this aside, put this back, and we'll change the outside. That's the nice thing about our paper, right? Everything coordinates. So this is what we'll use on this side. So we're going to do 1 7/8. So we'll cut this again. 1 3/4, 1 7/8. Right about like that. So we're going to cut 2 of these. And 1 7/8. 7/8 right there. All right. Okay, and then these are going to be cut at 5 1/4, and we can cut these both at the same time. So we'll cut those at 5 1/4. Make sure we're at 5 1/4. 5 1/4, right there. All right, so 5 1/4, 1 7/8. All right, put that over there. All right, so that, I think, is all we need as far as cutting on our paper. Ooh, that's a pretty color. Look at the back side of that. Isn't that pretty? Woohoo! All right, so this is going to be placed right here. So let's go ahead and add this. I really like that, but apparently I must have used that other sheet or something because I don't see it anywhere. But that's all right. Get some glue. There we go. All right, so we're going to put this right in here. Get that there, and I'm not layering anything. All right, now these two pieces are going to go here, and that will be fine with what we're going to do. And then this piece, I really like that, and we'll put those two right there. So let's go ahead and add our adhesive to these, and then we'll do our pop-up mechanism, and then we're going to do stamp our bottle, and then we're going to do some masking. So we're going to put that right there. We'll do this one. All right, y'all still there with me? I wonder if I lost my Facebook people. I don't see anybody on here from Facebook. At least no one's commenting. Are y'all out there, Facebook folks? I see my YouTube people. All right, let me know if you're still out there. All right, and then we're going to put this one right about there. Keep them lined up. Okay. All right, then we're going to, this is going to be our front piece. Oh, you know what I didn't cut? I didn't cut my, let me see. Hang on a minute. This is the inside piece. This is this. Oh, I didn't cut my, that's where that little piece of paper, I had an extra little piece of paper and I wondered what it was for. Let me cut my, I didn't cut the mechanism. So let's try that again. We need a 3 by 2 1/4. So we'll just take this piece right here and we'll cut this at, let me make sure it's 2, yeah. So let's cut this at 3. Okay, I see 4 watching. Okay, just wondering. And then this one is going to be at 2. This is our mechanism, pop-up mechanism. So this is 2 1/4. I wasn't sure if I lost everybody when we went offline. That's all. Okay, so the mechanism is 3 by 2 1/4, and then we need to score it. So we're going to do our 3/4 of an inch. All right, and then we're going to flip this around and do 1 1/2. Oops. 1 1/2. And then we're going to do 2 1/4 right there. Okay, so that's 2 1/4. Now we're done with that. Okay, so we can fold this and get this all folded. All right, and then we're gonna fold this up, make sure we got it even. And I'm not sure if it's me, the way I'm cutting my paper, or if it's just the way I'm scoring, because my things are just a tad off when it comes to the center. I'm just going to trim again this side just a little bit. We just want to make sure we don't trim too much off and not have it operate properly. All right, we're going to do our tear and tape again. Whoops. All right, so let's, pardon me, let's do our tear and tape. And we're going to put that on, all right, so I'm going to lay that down here. Let's put one here. I'm going to put one on each side this time instead of 2. So let's try that. It might have had too much, who knows. Let's put it on this side. I'm going to put it towards the outside a little bit. And that will trim just a little bit because he's going to go over. Actually, I'll put it right there. Okay, so let's peel this off. It really is an easy card. Once you try it, you'll go, oh my God, that really is simple. But, you know, if you're still learning how to make cards, then this might not be something to try right away, though it is pretty simple. But I'm teaching classes here. I live in an over 55 community. It's a life care community, and I started teaching classes over about a month ago. And what I think is easy, you have to really be careful, because my ladies there, I had 2 ladies that were 91 years old in my class. I about fell out. 90 years old and 91. I just was like, oh my gosh, I hope I can be like them when I grow up. So, all right, so we're going to lay our mechanism down where our fold is, right? So we want to get that right there. And we're going to lay that down and make sure we get that on there and pop this little guy up. Let's get a little bit of the here. All right, fold that over, and we'll crease that one too. All right, so there's our mechanism, right? I got it up a little bit too high, but that's okay. All right, so we have that. Now we have our inside piece and our top part that we're going to put this on here with our sentiment, and then this one's going to go on the inside. So we're not putting a base on that. So we're going to stamp. Let me get my sentiment. Where is it? Hang on a minute. Oh, overflowing with happiness. Hang on a minute. Overflowing. I was running out of blocks, which I have enough blocks. Don't ask me why. I guess I have them in the box and didn't get them out. Okay. All we got to do is our sentiments and do a little bit of coloring, and we'll be done. All right. So this one, we're going to use, what do we want on the inside? I think I want to do Calypso Coral. I think I want to pull the Calypso Coral in, since we've got a lot of the crushed curry. So let's do Calypso Coral on our sentiment. And this is overflowing with happiness is what this is going to be on that inside piece. All right, so we're going to stamp that right about here. Okay. All right, so that's that one. I'm going to put this aside because we're going to use that again. I got more stamps over here than Carter's got pills. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add him on here, and I'm gonna stand this up for just a second so I can look at it. And I'm gonna put some adhesive. I'm gonna just put my adhesive on here and do like that, and hopefully that will hold. Let me just do a little smidge next to it. All right, so let's put that on there. And again, I'm gonna leave just a little bit from. I'm going to come down a little bit because I want to make sure that the card is somewhat centered in the inside of the card, even though my mechanism is off a little bit. All right, so I'm just going to lay that right about there and push down on that. Okay, so we've got that one there. All right, now this one is where we're going to do some stamping. We are going to use the Bottle of Happiness. So let's get our bottle. And we're going to stamp him in Calypso Coral. And what I'm going to do is I am going to, why is this guy not cooperating? He don't want to stick to me. This part wants to stick, but the other one doesn't. Okay. We're going to stamp this in Calypso Coral, but I'm going to stamp it, and I'm going to stamp off, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to do, we have masking paper. You know, before when we wanted to, when you want to stamp something and you want something to be in the foreground or in front, you can mask it a certain way to do that. And you've always used sticky notes, but now we have masking paper, and this is called Stampin' Up! masking paper. And you get 12 sheets. So we're going to, I'm going to stamp on my sheet here. I got to figure out which one is my, okay. This is just going to be my mask. I'm going to cut it out. So I'm just going to stamp this right here. And then I'm going to stamp my bottle because I didn't want it quite as dark. So I'm going to stamp that right there. I'm going to let it sit for just a minute because I did it originally. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now we're going to take this bottle. It's a two-step. So we have this little piece right here, which is going to give us the outline of our bottle. Okay, so let me get back up here in the camera. All right, we're going to ink this up. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to hover. And this is going to go at the bottom of the bottle. And then this is going to give us a little bit darker rim. And we're going to line that up and make sure I've got it exactly the way it's supposed to be. We'll get that lined up at the top, and then the rest of it should just fall in place, and hopefully we've got it right. Okay, see, oops, we're gonna have to hide that with a flower. Okay. Oh, Sherry, you live in a life care community? Oh, that's awesome. Is that, I mean, is all your stuff included? So if something happens to you, you automatically can go to assisted living or memory care, all that stuff. That's what we live in. All right, so I'm going to take this piece right here, and I had a mask. I should have just kept the previous one, but I'm just going to trim this out of the masking paper, and what it's going to allow me to do is I'm going to cover up my bottle because I want to stamp my flowers on top. So if you want something to stay in the front, then you want to cover it up. If you don't want it in the front, you want it in the back, then you would cover the other item up that you've got, if that makes sense. But when you do masking, it's all about being able to hide the front item so it looks like everything is behind it. It's kind of cool. So, and I'm glad they came out with this masking paper because I was always using my sticky notes. All right, so we're just going to peel this off, and I'm going to set it, and I'm going to hide that. Hopefully we can hide that. I just got to get a point here. Oh, okay, yeah. We lived up in the Villages, which was a 55 and older place. This is a life care, which means you move in, you buy into a property, and there's different levels that you can buy into. Now, what I'm doing is I'm taking my mask and I'm covering up my bottle. And once you buy in, you pay one fee. All of your utilities are included, and all of the health. So a lot of places, if you get sick or have memory issues or whatever, and you have to go into memory care or assisted living, they charge an additional fee. Well, this place at Shell Point, there's no additional cost. So you go into assisted living, your husband can stay in the house, and you don't pay any additional costs other than your food. So it's good because, you know, as you get older, we don't know what kind of health issues we're going to have, right? And you want to make sure you're being taken care of. And let me tell you, this place is just unbelievable. That's all I can say. Unbelievable. So, all right, we are going to, now I've got my mask on here, and I'm going to do my flowers. Now, in the bottle of happiness, if you notice, there's some little openings around. So you've got to find the right opening that's going to fit around the bottle. And on this particular one, and you probably can't see it, but let me see if I can get over here. There's that's not going to work. There's a little flower right here, and it's got like a heart, and that's going to go right on top of the bottle. And I'm going to do this in Calypso Coral, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to do it in, we'll do it in Crushed Curry, and then we'll come back with Garden Green. All right, so I'm going to ink this up, and I'm almost done, you guys. Sorry it's taking this long. I'll be done in give me about 10 minutes. Let me get to my thing. Okay, so I'm lining this up here. This is my bottle where my mask is, so I'm going to stamp my flowers, and some of this is going to go off the page, but that's okay. And we're going to stamp just like that, and I'm going to make sure I get everything on there. All right, so there's the outline of my flowers. Now this is up a little bit higher, but that's all right. We can deal with that. All right, now we're going to come back. Give me 1 second. I've got so much. I'm trying to wipe the ink off, and that's not going to work. All right, let me get my leaves. And the leaves we're going to do in Garden Green, so I'm going to lay those down. And this is the same thing. You're going to look for the area that you get where you can find that they're going to match up, okay? So I've got my leaves, and I know by looking at this one, I need to have my 3 leaves that are right here. And when I line it up, then this right here is going to fill in the flower. These are going to fill in the center parts right here. So you just kind of hover and get them where you think, and then turn just a little bit to get everything in position. And once you've got it where it looks pretty good, then you just push it down. And well, hopefully that's going to work. Sometimes this takes a little practice, because once you figure out how to the angle, then it works out pretty well. All right, so let's close this up. Whoops. And then put that over there. Now I'm going to pull off my mask piece, if I can get it off. All right, so you can see, look at that. So doesn't it look like the flowers are coming out of that? Isn't that pretty? All right, so we've done that. And now we're going to stamp our sentiment. I'm going to do that in the green as well, so we can pull a little bit more green in. And this is sending little wishes. And I'm just going to stamp that right on a scrap. This is just a scrap of basic white. And I'm just going to cut it at an angle and glue it down. Okay, so we will go ahead and add this to our Calypso Coral. And almost done, everyone. Thank you for your patience in allowing me to show you all 3 cards. I think we probably would have gone over about 15 minutes if we not lost our signal. Okay, so we're going to put this right here. All right, there's that. And then I'm going to snip. I just have this thing about snipping my stuff. And I'm going to snip it right like that. And then all we'll do, I'm going to pop this up on a dimensional or 2. We haven't done any dimensionals today. What is up with that? Usually we're using dimensionals left and right, huh? All right, so we are going to put a dimensional down here, and we'll put one right up here. And we'll add that to our card, but let's go ahead and get this added on here. So again, I want to lay this down. So I have my edge, and it looks like it's pretty even, right? So I'm going to go ahead and attach this part of my card. So I'm going to put my thumb here, so I know I've got this third of where I can put my adhesive, if it works. All right, so we'll do that. Put some adhesive there, and we'll go around here. And I should be using my silicone mat, so it doesn't. All right, so we're going to lay that down. I'm going to hold this up for just a second so I can see. And we're going to lay that over just to get a little bit of that white border showing. And we're going to lay that down. All right, and then the next thing, we're going to take our dimensionals and add those. I'm going to have a mess to clean up tonight. And we're going to place that right there. And there is our other card. Isn't that cute? All right, so here is the other pop-up card. Same way, but this one we didn't put a border underneath, right? And this one we did. So there's those 2, and that's how they stand. Okay, so that's those 2. And then we have this little guy, which we did. So we have that guy. So there's those 3 pop-up cards. Aren't they precious? And then here is our For You card, our wiper, if you will. And that slides right in there, and that closes up. Isn't that cute? So what do you think? Did y'all like those? All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to put my face back in here. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you taking the time and spending an hour and a half with me. I love what I do, and I hope y'all enjoyed these cards. Come back next Tuesday, and I think I'm going to do a one-sheet wonder, something a little bit different. So, and if you're not following me, please make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that bell to get notified when I update new videos. And if you're on Facebook, make sure that you like my Facebook page and share if you liked my videos. If you don't mind, that would be I'd greatly appreciate it. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. And if you need anything and don't have a demonstrator, if you do and you just have questions, I'm open. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or help you if I can. You can reach me at dawn@shallwestamp.com, or you can text me message me on Facebook. Either way, it doesn't matter. All right, everybody. Thanks again.